Alright, thank you, Lucy. Those two songs were Hrant Dink's two favorite songs, and that's why we had them played for you. And Hilda, thank you very much for performing. Before I start my remarks, I would also like to acknowledge the presence of and welcome our dear, Honorable Grigor Hovhannisyan, Consul General for the Republic of Armenia, who joined us right here. As I said, that those two songs, I mean, they've become one with Hrant Dink. He was the great champion of free speech, was honored by our organization in Philadelphia in 2006, and I'll get to that bell. That's why Philadelphia, the bell, and all that. As lawyers, we share a great passion, and those of us who are Americans, of course, have a special attachment and appreciation for our First Amendment. And Hrant Dink was given that award that I tried to hold in Philadelphia. He held it in his hand without getting into the details, and not what he said, but just to remember and respect him and his respect and love for the universal right of speech. I want to take you back to that moment. We will never forget that moment that he held that award in his hand and made certain statements saying whenever, and he promised us if they took him to prison that he would hold that in his hand and he would be smiling at the cameras. Well, unfortunately, 2 months from that time, we lost him. He said that above all other personal and group rights, and he went through a whole list of rights, and we discussed them this morning. We know there are a lot of civil rights, but he said the fundamental human right of free expression encompassing the entire humanity, and one that is not restrained by time or space was elemental, was number one for him. The award that we are about to give is not always given. It's a coveted award. Only recipients by the Armenian Bar Association have been Taner Akçam, Vahat Dadrian, and Rafi Hovhannisyan, our founder. And this year, we have voted to present it, our board has voted, to present it to an incredible person. We heard him today. I don't have to remind you. I hope that those of you who weren't in do get access. We have videotaped the entire presentation, the panels today, and you get to watch it on YouTube. It was an amazing panel. He's a man that we respect and admire for his bravery, knowledge, and leadership. A man who has become a voice for the silent and the silenced. He told us today that one of the main threats that he deals with, and people like him deal with, is libel and defamation suits. While physical violence that he has been subjected to may not be the main chilling effect at this point in time, he still has to deal with a system that allows the powerful interests of the rich to threaten him with lawsuits. And while he said the laws were good, and I asked him a question, I don't know if he understood that, point I was making. There clearly, I was trying to find out if there was a distinction between political speech and non-political speech, and whether or not there were protections, such as the United States Supreme Court's New York Times versus Sullivan decision, establishing the actual malice standard for alleged defamation of public officials. Well, I will quote Justice Brennan, one of my favorites, from the New York Times case at this point. Debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open. It may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. And that's fine. And you think asking for that is not interference, that you're not naive diasporans who don't understand what and what Justice Brennan said, according to me and us, I believe in the Armenian Bar Association, applies anywhere and everywhere. It is a fundamental, universal principle. Edik Baghdasaryan is the person that we want to honor because he has been a leader, a journalist who has given voice to the voiceless. I will read to you a little bit from his biography so you know who this man is. Investigative journalist Edik Baghdasaryan believes there are no taboo subjects or untouchable people. His career is characterized by the singular goal of defending freedom of speech and demanding transparency and accountability. Baghdasaryan is editor-in-chief of HETQ online daily newspaper and founder of the Investigative Journalist NGO in Armenia. In addition to his work with HETQ, Mr. Baghdasaryan has produced over 50 documentaries and investigative films, which have garnered awards and accolades both within Armenia and internationally, including awards from UNDP, Transparency International, OSCE, the World Wildlife Fund, and Internews. Through his work, Baghdasaryan has successfully inspired positive social change in a multitude of areas. Of particular note are: 1. A series on Armenia's homeless, which resulted in the establishment of a winter shelter by the Armenian government. 2. A series on abuse of children at an Armenian seminary in Calcutta, India, which resulted in immediate action by Echmiadzin. And 3. A series on trafficking of Armenian women to the United Arab Emirates, which resulted in a dozen criminal cases against officials, pimps, and others engaged in human trafficking and the enslavement of women. Baghdasaryan also spearheaded a Freedom of Information Bill, which was passed in 2003 by Armenia's parliament and took government officials to court for withholding public information, including the State Customs Committee, the Minister of Nature Protection, and the Mayor of Yerevan. These precedent-setting cases paved the way for other journalists and NGOs to demand transparency and accountability. In September 2008, Baghdasaryan won the Global Shining Light Award at the Global Investigative Journalism Conference held in Norway for his series of articles entitled The Minister and the Mining Sector, which revealed how Armenia's former Minister of Nature Protection had allocated mines to himself and his family members. 2 months later, Mr. Baghdasaryan was attacked and violently beaten by 3 unknown assailants while walking to his car from work. A young man who was a close acquaintance of the former minister was arrested and sentenced to 5 years for the assault. Although Mr. Baghdasaryan believes the attack was contracted by the minister and connected with his reporting. Most recently, in 2010, United States Ambassador to Armenia, Marie Yovanovich, awarded Baghdasaryan the Defender of Armenia Freedom Award. In accepting the award, Mr. Baghdasaryan commented that he would prefer to live in a world where such awards did not have to exist. Baghdasaryan holds a degree in television journalism from Moscow State University. He teaches investigative journalism classes at Yerevan State University. To quote John Milton, to conclude my remarks, "Give me the liberty to know, to utter and to argue freely according to conscience, above all liberties." Dear Hrant, Edik Baghdasaryan is someone who deserves to receive the Hrantic Free Speech Award, and he will be proud of him. I would like to call on Mr. Baghdasaryan to come to the podium. Before I give the award, the main award that he's going to receive, I will present him with a gift we received from Congressman Sherman's office, and it is the flag of the United States of America. He couldn't be with us, but his representative is here, and she presented it to me. And this flag of the United States of America, this is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol on April 7, 2012. At the request of the Honorable Brad Sherman, Member of Congress, given to Edik Baghdasaryan on May 19, 2012, signed by Mr. Sherman and the architect of the Capitol. And the flag is right here. This is the Liberty Bell that I was talking about. But can I have my two vice chairs and Curry come and chair and
the rest of the crew?
And I would like, my custom as I go out has always been to have all the former chairs join us when we present these awards. Can I ask Zaven Sinanian, Sonia Nefsesyan, Gary Munjian, please come join us at the podium. David Balabanian, Rob Panuccio. Have I missed anyone? Paul Vikan Simonian, but he's here, he's with us. I believe we have all the scratches. I just want you to be behind me, usually. You know the drill. Gary Munjian, Rob, could you please come? These are all former chairs in the Armenian Bar. Gary Munjian from New York, Rob Panuccio from Philly. Okay, let me read. It's my pleasure to present to you the Hrant Singh Freedom Award is presented by the Armenian Bar Association to Mr. Edik Baghdasaryan for his heroic defense of liberty and free speech in the service of the people of the Republic of Armenia, given on May 19, 2012 in Glendale, California. Congratulations. Yes, Mr. Garcetti.
Շնորհակալություն իսկապես ամեն մի պարգև նաև պատասխանատվությունն է, նոր բեռ է, որը վերցնում ենք, չգիտենք տակից ինչպես ենք դուրս գալու։
In truth, the receipt of every gift implies a responsibility as well.
Գիտեք, ինձ համար հեշտ է խոսել Հայաստանի խնդիրների մասին, որտեղ դրանք իմ խնդիրներն են։ Իսկ դեր համար երևի դժվար է դրա մասին խոսել։
In actuality, it's easy for me to talk about the problems of Armenia because that's my day-to-day life. Maybe a little bit of a different standpoint than what you're accustomed to.
Մի բան պետք է լավ իմանաք, որ եթե խոսում ենք Հայաստանի խնդիրների մասին, դա անում ենք, որպեսզի այդ խնդիրները լուծենք։
One thing I want you to understand is that when we talk about Armenia's problems, we talk about them with an eye towards solutions, towards resolving those problems.
Եվ ազատությունը, իրականում ազատությունը այդքան էլ հեշտ չէ, ազատության սահմանները այդքան էլ հեշտ չէ նվաճել, ամեն մի սանտիմետրի համար ինչ-որ բան է պահանջում, ինչ-որ զոհաբերություն է պահանջում, որը Հայաստանում շատերն են անցնում։
And in reality, expanding the boundaries of liberty is a very arduous process. struggle for every centimeter of ground gained.
Ես վստահ եմ, որ այստեղ նստածների ջալի մասը պատրաստ է հայրենիքի համար ներդնել չինել մարմնի ինչ-որ լավագույն մաս։ Վստահ եմ, որ դուք պատրաստ եք դա անելու։
I have no doubt that each and every one of you is willing to devote the best part of your being towards the improvement of life in our home.
Եվ քանի որ դուք հայ համայնքի լավագույն մասն եք, իսկապես ինտելեկտուալ մասն եք կազմում, դուք նաև ունեք պատասխանատվություն երկրում ինչ-որ բան փոխելու։
And because you represent an elite or intelligentsia segment of the community, the responsibility for you to get involved is all the greater.
Ես հուսով եմ, որ Հայաստանը լքած հայաստանցիների հետ միասին դուք էլ կգաք, որ կարողանանք մեր երկիրը հզորացնել։
I have no doubt that you, together with all of our separated brethren who left Armenia and now live here, will together work together to improve our homeland.
Շնորհակալություն։